welcome to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, Live the Life You Want. I'm Jasmine, the host of the show. And today I am happy to have with me Linda Pransky. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Jasmine.
So happy that you're here. And I'm so happy that everybody listening gets to hear you talk. So all my audience is going to get to hear you. And thank you for accepting to come.
You're very welcome. It's nice to
So
be here.
everybody, I want to tell you, I had a thought this weekend, a thought occurred to me. So everybody knows that I'm single. Linda, you might not have known this, but I've been single for a little while. And, I suffered because I was single, because I shouldn't be single. I should be in a relationship, it's not right. Um, and that has passed. Now I'm comfortable with how and where I am in my life. And this weekend I was watching a show, and in this show, the girl was cheated on. And then my thought was, well, you don't have to stop loving him. The love is coming from you anyways. Like, he doesn't love you, but you love him, but you don't love him for him. You love him because you love him. It's coming from you. So it's kind of like, that's kind of like what came up for me. It's not clear yet. It's like a new point of view, because before I would have been like, oh yeah, he's such a bad person and I suck, like if it happened to me. But so I know that you're working on creating this course right now for couples. What would you tell these people who are looking for love about that, if that makes any sense?
Well, like, what would I tell a person if they said to me, well, I shouldn't be mad at him because it's not about me, it's about him. And I should still love him because it's what he did, it's it wasn't about me, it was about him. Is that what you're asking?
That's one side, yes.
Well, it depends how you see it.
Mm,
See, it's like, and I was going to give you this example for a different scenario. Like, you know how some people, they'll be in a conversation and someone will say something that's rather, I don't know, insulting. It could be sarcastic, or it could be pointed,
mm,
or it could be just, you know, a, a bit hurtful.
yeah.
And there are people that will just, it doesn't even affect them. They'll just turn around and make a joke or change the subject and say something really loving. And then it disarms that person that was caustic or sarcastic or insulting. It disarms them and kind of changes their state of mind. You've seen that happen, right?
Yes.
Well, the person that can do that, they can do it because they didn't take seriously the insult, or they didn't take seriously the behavior. They didn't take seriously the words. So they just changed the scenario and up the feeling, changed the state of consciousness. Now, you can only do that honestly and legitimately where it works if you feel that way. Like, if people that actually have gotten insulted or hurt or taken issue with what they said, they try to do that, they're coming from the wrong feeling. So, like, in theory, it's not about you, it's about them. In theory, in
Mm,
truth. But if you don't see that truth, you can't respond that way and be honest. And in my mind, people have to be honest. They have to cop to where they're at.
yeah.
So if you've taken it personally, you cop to, yeah, I took it personal. Doesn't mean you have to stay there. Or if you're really hurt, you got to cop. Yeah, I'm really hurt. Got to cop to it. Or I shouldn't be alone. That's where you're at. You got to cop to where you're at. That's the first step in changing things, is copping to where you're at, and 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 stop resisting where you're at and trying to be where you think you should be. It's a real sticky wicket when people, they think they should be in a certain feeling or think a certain way, so they resist themselves and try to be that way. It doesn't work. You gotta just go, yeah, I know, I'm just taking it personally. Yeah, I know I'm really angry. Yeah, I know I feel really bad about him or really bad about myself. You gotta cop to where you're at and then get over it. Get over it.
Yeah.
Like
I call it
like you
owning
did,
it.
like you did. You had the thought, I shouldn't be alone. Well, you got over it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Well, for me, it was kind of like looking at, well, do I mind? Like, I kind of like started looking at, where did it come from? Like, why is it that I shouldn't be alone? Who says I shouldn't be
Yeah.
alone? It's all the building around it, oh, well, essentially, like what I've been seeing in all of my seeings is that anytime I was suffering, it had something to do with something that I thought.
And
So,
here's what you did, which is important. You questioned that thought and went, wait a minute.
mm,
Do I have to think this way? Is this true? Can I do something else? You reflected. You got curious and you reflected on where you were at. You questioned your thinking.
I still do it.
Yeah.
So there's this one thing that happened. So all my life, I've been a chubby girl. I've been overweight and I've had chubby cheeks, and all my life I've been told you're fat, and not, well, I made up that it was not a good thing, right? It was never a good thing. And lately, like, no joke, I'm going to say mid last year, my father just asked me the question, how, how much do you weigh?
Mhm.
This is the question that he asked. And the feeling inside my body was huge, and the injustice and the unfairness and the all of the just wanted to scream back at him, essentially. And instead I took my coat and I left.
Mhm.
And I got in my car and I was like, it's not him, it's you. Like, so it's you.
Yeah, oh, good. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was your reaction to a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could say anything to me. You can say, hey, Jasmine, you're really bad with animals. And I'd be like, thanks, Linda.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing. It's fine. I know it's not true. I totally know it's not true.
Yeah.
Right. But everything I was thinking in that moment with that simple question that my father asked, I had a reaction to. So if I had a reaction to it, there was somewhere, somehow, I believed it was true. And there was something I needed to look at.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that turned into a whole journey for me. It's been, I'm going to say it's been, I had already been looking at it, but there were things that I weren't seeing, that I wasn't seeing. And it just turned into a whole journey. Now I've lost 35 pounds, and I'm still working on it. Right. And I'm seeing it as, oh, there's a thought. Oh, that's a thought. This thought's generating this behavior. There's like I'm just seeing it go. And it's really interesting to keep seeing it. Now, let me ask you something, because you've been you've started working on this or learning this a little longer before me. So some people, it feels like they understand and it's like, boom, that's it, it's changed. Like they see something and they're like, oh, that's it. And all of a sudden it's totally changed.
Mhm.
And I really would love it if I really would love it if I could just go, oh, it's because I think this and that's it. And boom, lost all the weight. And all of a sudden I'm like this, this thin person.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's not how it's happening for me. It's
Mhm.
happening slowly and it's happening. It feels like, but man, didn't I just see that already? It feels like I keep seeing it again differently.
Mhm.
Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Have you, like, what do you have to say around that? What, not, I don't want you to tell me why, but just like, what do you hear around that?
Well, I hear both. In other words, there are people that have, in my own experience, where I've had insights that have completely changed me, and then other insights that have helped me, but not completely changed me. And I don't know why it works that way, but it works that way. Some insights help, and it's like incremental change, and others insights just dramatic change.
Yeah,
And if I knew why, I'd tell you, but I don't.
yeah. Well, my experience as well is the why is all made up anyways, right? It's like, well, it's because of this. Is it? Maybe, if you want to believe. One time somebody told me, yeah, well, what you just made up is serving you in this moment, right? There are things that we just make up that works.
Right, because we either use thought for us or
Mm,
we use thought against us. We have the tool of thought to use towards us or against us, and we do every day.
mm,
I mean, you're using your thought for yourself now, losing weight.
yeah. Yeah, it's a balance between all of it, right? It's not like we stop using thought. Like when I first started studying or listening or, it was literally like thought was bad.
Oh no, no, no.
And that's changing. That's definitely changing for me.
Oh, we use thought. We have, I mean, it's all thought, and we have all kinds of thinking, and you learn to use your common sense thinking as opposed to, and you're thinking, you're understanding thoughts that are filled with understanding. Like I remember when I wanted to lose weight, and um what I used to do, I'd go on a diet, lose weight, and then go back to eating the way I normally ate, and then I gain it back. And it's like this yo-yo thing. And I'm like, how do you stop that? And so my thought was a good one. My thought was so simple and yet so helpful. My thought was, why don't you watch what you're doing around food? Just observe, study, just look at what you're doing. Well, when I started looking at what I was doing, I learned a lot about how to lose weight. Like, for example, I didn't know that I was a clean plater. So, whatever food was on my plate, I ate it. I cleaned my plate. And I'm like, well, that's not helpful to lose weight if I clean my plate.
So sorry, I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is. Sorry, my phone started talking.
Okay. So,
So you're a clean plater.
I was a clean plater. And then I had the thought, well, what do I have to be? What's that about? But I felt compelled to clean my plate. And I thought, I don't have to do that. Just like you, I don't have to think that it's no good to be alone. I don't have to think that way. I had the thought, I don't have to think this way. I don't have to think that I have to be a clean plater. Well, as soon as I had that thought, I started not cleaning my plate. And then I started putting less food on my plate because it was like all of a sudden I realized you're the one that's putting the food on your too much food on. It was
Yeah.
all of this awareness about how I was eating. And once I looked and I thought about it and I thought, I can think different. I don't have to. I just lose weight because I just didn't eat as much.
Mm,
But it was looking and addressing and changing my mind, changing my thinking.
yeah.
So that's my point is you use thought for yourself. Like I was using thought against myself in terms of gaining weight because I felt compelled to clean my plate. And as soon as I went, wait a minute, I don't have to do that. I don't have to think that way. I don't have to think that way. Using thought for me.
And it's kind of becoming present, right? It's like becoming present and seeing what you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. But well, the thing is, everybody has a creative process, a creative mind. And the first step to that creative mind is to get curious. Like, how would I lose weight if I wanted to lose weight? And then you have another thought. Well, why don't you just watch and see what you do around food and learn and see if you could do it different? That's your creative process. That's a positive use of thought.
Mm.
And you can do that in relationship. Use thought to help your relationship rather than hinder it. Like,
Yeah.
for example, I have to argue my point. I've got to get them to see what I see and get them to believe what I believe or get on board with my, well, why? Why do they have to get on board with my thinking? Why couldn't we just agree to disagree?
Yeah, that's not just good in in romantic relationships. That's just like any relationship. It's kind of like,
Yeah, but you just see the simplicity of it. It's just
yeah,
a change of mind. It's just like, well, if something's not working, what else? If something's like you did that with your not being in a relationship. I'm not in a relationship. I'm supposed to be in a relationship. And you're like, well, wait a minute. What else is there besides the thought I'm supposed to be in a relationship? And then you just got comfortable in your life such as you are. It was a change of thought. It's so simple because it comes with the question, the curious mind of what else? What else? If we didn't, if I didn't feel like I had to agree with my partner, or we had to agree and I had to push my point of view, which would end us up in perpetual arguing, which is no fun, what else? What else is there?
yeah, I see myself, I catch myself sometimes doing that. And I'm like, oh, stop it. Like I want to push my point.
Yeah.
And then I catch myself and I'm like, oh, okay, no, it's okay. And and then, there were times where I would say it's okay, but it was a passive aggressive way. Now it's really like, no, no, actually it's okay. It's don't worry about it, you know.
You start to put the feeling that you live in first.
You start to put the feeling that you live in first.
Mhm. And this is enough what I mean by that. So if you want to live in a nice feeling or a peaceful feeling or a feeling of equilibrium or resiliency or a nice feeling, when you is agreeing to disagree allows you to do that. And when you don't agree and you argue it, you go into a bad feeling. If you're willing to agree to disagree, you just go back into a nice feeling. So how can you go on back and how does a person go back into a nice feeling? Like for example, another example of that is like people will think about their past and regret and ruminate about their past, which brings them into a bad feeling. Well, the understanding or the thinking is the past is the past. It's gone. It's nothing. You can't fix it. You can't fix the past. It's over. You leave it. Now, when you stop thinking about the past, you go back into a nice feeling, back into a resiliency of mind. You go out of past thinking and back into something else.
Sydney would talk about innocence, like how there's an innocent thing that we do that it's kind of like we think that this is the right thing to do, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you have to look at that because, see, your right thing to do is somebody else's wrong thing. So it's an issue of separate realities. People live in separate realities of their own making, and then they think they're right. Well, your separate reality is just your separate reality that you made up, from your own creative process and from taking on the belief system of others, specifically your parents or teachers or friends that you look up to. So you take on belief systems and you make belief systems and you think you're right. Well, but when you realize it, when you see that somebody else has an opposite belief system, who's right? Who's right? Is there an ultimate right? Well, there's no ultimate right within the content of people's thinking. There's sensibility, there's sensible thought, common sense, and usually people agree that common sense is right. What I mean by common sense, well, if you're tired, sit down. If you're hungry, eat. If you have a cut on your foot, wear a sock or put a Band-Aid on it. I mean, there's common sense that everybody agrees with, that nobody fights about.
Mm.
If you're cold, put a coat on.
You're hot, take it off.
Yeah, if you want to, if you're if you're at odds with somebody, apologize. Now that's starting to get into belief systems because some people will, I never apologize.
Okay.
And then they just stay in bad feeling.
It's really,
so I'm making the point, I'm really kind of hammering this point to death about we use our thinking for ourselves or against ourselves. And when you really look at it, your right thinking is someone else's wrong thinking, except within the realm of common sense. Just people go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I played with that the other day. I went to the restaurant and I ordered a plate, and when she brought the plate was like not what I ordered, and then at first it was kind of like, well, this is missing, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna go get it for you. So she brought what was missing, and then I realized, I said, actually, I didn't want this, and there was supposed to be only one of this, and then I looked at her and I said, is this my plate? This doesn't look like it's my plate. She got offended. She really got offended. She was like, well, what you ordered was that, and I was like, no. And for a fraction of a second, I was like, I'm not gonna argue with her. I got what I want. I'm just gonna eat it, And then she left, and then I started interacting with my brain, She's a waitress. the customer is always right. And then I was having like this whole conversation. I was like, just let it go, let it go. Wait till the bill. Then I got the bill. And it was like $5 more than what I was expecting. And I was like, no, I'm having a beautiful day. I'm not gonna argue. I just didn't argue.
Mhm.
And I was kind of like, fine. And I paid and I left, and my friend was like, but this is wrong. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
Just don't wanna. I could, but I
Yeah,
don't wanna.
yeah, yeah. You could argue a point, and probably sometime you might,
Yep.
because you just want to. But you get to choose. It's like that's the thing is we can decide for ourselves. Do we want to go for it and get into a battle or not? And sometimes you want to get into a battle with somebody for whatever reason. You just want to. But
Yeah.
then you have to, but then you lose your good feeling. So you have to kind of like, but see, we get to be independent thinkers and decide how we want to do things. We get to be independent thinkers and decide how we want to do things.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a slave to your thinking or a slave to other people's thinking. You want to look and go, do I want to give up my good? Do I want to give up my good feeling and go for this, or do I want to keep my good feeling and leave? You get to decide.
Hmm. Isn't that great?
There's no right or wrong about it.
It feels so good though.
Mhm.
Like, once you've tasted peace of mind, you know, when I was saying earlier, like most of the time when I was suffering, it was something I was thinking.
Yeah,
I was suffering because of what I was thinking. I didn't like suffering.
that's a really powerful realization that you had. That my suffering is my thinking. That's very powerful. I mean, to have that realization that my suffering is my thinking um, sets you free from suffering,
Yeah.
and it puts you back into a resilient mind, into a neutral mind, into a nice feeling. Because that's the reset for people. The reset when they get out of insecure thought or negative thought or bad thinking, the reset is a neutral mind. It's always a neutral mind. It's always just a neutral mind, like a nice feeling, a neutral mind. And then we go into thinking that creates suffering. And if you see it, you go, if you see what you saw, gee, I'm creating my own suffering, then it just falls apart and you go back into the nice feeling. That's really, really good for you. That's really good.
Yeah, because now it's a red light. Like it's my little red flag,
Mhm.
My suffering right now? What am I thinking? Like, and I can let it go, just like that, that restaurant. And it's generally small things, you know?
Always small things. I mean, not always, but mostly small things. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's mostly small things.
because it's an accumulation. It was an accumulation of small things that just became a big, humongous thing, you know? And then if I was interacting with people, oh my God, now they're going to think this, and I don't know what to do with their thinking. It was just like cacophony of thought, and not the positive ones, not the ones that gave me good feelings.
It's very human to get caught up. It's very human.
Hmm.
Very human. It's what we do back and forth, get caught, get uncaught, get caught, get uncaught. Get used to it. It's
Yeah.
okay to get caught up. You just see it and then you get uncaught. That's what we do as human beings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I've accepted. Like I didn't like the fact that I got angry.
Yeah.
Like if I got angry, like I got angry first, and then I'd see that I was angry, then I got angry because I got angry,
Yeah.
and then I got upset, and then it was just like it was just a swirl, you know.
Yeah. You know, it's one of the nicest insights I ever had is that um, I can't fix my humanity.
Mm. Mm.
I'm gonna be human and I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna get caught up. That's what it means to be human. And the best I can do is get uncaught really fast.
Mm. So would you say seeing is everything?
Well, you have to say more about that. What do you?
Like for me, like once I really truly see what's going on,
Mhm.
like once I
Oh yeah, yes, clarity, clarity. I would say, from my vernacular, I say you get really clear, and yes, then you know what to do. When you get clear, you know what to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, clarity is like and there's I don't know if you have that experience, but there's like clarity in the moment, and then you move, and then all of a sudden it gets a little clearer, even a little clearer. Like if
Yeah.
I look at my business, for example, you know, like this is the clear path, and as I move through the path, I'm like, oh, okay, now it's you know, there's something that opens up inside clarity.
Mhm.
But there's clarity in the moment, and then just continue to move. Let clarity makes you move, makes you, like you said, you know what to do in clarity. If you're confused, if you don't know what to do, you're not clear.
Right. True.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. When you're clear, you move. Yeah.
I love movement. I
Mhm.
mean, I
Yeah.
mean, I felt stagnant for so long. So once I've tasted movement, it was kind of like now I can't not move. And it doesn't have to be like physical movement, but just I there's like this moving energy inside of me.
Well, it's inside. But the thing is, everything is energy, and energy moves.
Mm.
I mean, or it's the tendency of energy is to to move, to flow. Like just our thinking flows. Even when we grab it and ruminate about it, eventually we let go and it flows. People are meant to move. Energy is meant to move.
Mm.
It's like the nature of things, movement, and movement feels good. Mental movement, physical movement, movement feels good. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Movement definitely feels good.
Yeah. I think everybody would say that movement feels good.
Well, Linda, thank you so much. Believe it or not, we've reached our 30
Oh,
minutes.
we're done? Wow.
Yeah, we
That,
busted.
that
We
was,
even busted. But before we go, I
uh-huh.
would like to know, is there anything going on with Pransky and Associates right now that people might be interested to join?
Well, we have the relationship workshop coming up,
Okay.
that people can join. It's going to be on Zoom, and um, it's for couples, but it doesn't really matter if you're not in a relationship, in a primary relationship, you're in relationship.
Mm.
We've got, a new book out, Unbreak Your Heart,
Mm,
which is for couples that don't want a divorce, that want to
okay.
work it out. But it's actually for couples who feel, you know, like they want to stay together, but they don't feel like they want to stay together, but they feel that divorce is the answer because they just don't see how to do it. So it's for those couples. We have all kinds of, we have a store with all kinds of products, and we have a relationship course, we have a coaching course, we have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I know people go, I've heard a lot of Pro Train, which is happening in October this year.
We have a professional training for people that work from this understanding, the understanding of the three principles. But it's open to, you don't have to be a coach, because what happened is, you know,
Yeah.
somebody can, I mean, I really want to do the professional training, I'm not a coach, can I do it? Go, yeah, sure. You know, because it's just applicable to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so pranskyandAssociates.com.
Mhm.
And everybody, you guys can go visit there and reach out to them and ask questions. And the girls have been doing a great job on social media. I've been following your social media. I love what's happening there.
Yeah,
So,
Jen and Terry,
yeah,
they're awesome. Yeah.
yeah, having a lot of fun watching what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's it. So thank you very much again for
Oh,
accepting. Hope that you can come back, you know, maybe next season you can join us again.
it was nice talking with you,
Same here.
and it was lovely seeing your dog.
Yes, Bote is always she's the mascot of the Dream It, Dare It, Do It podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Huh? She's such a good girl. All right. Well, everybody, I'm going to say thank you for listening, and dream it, dare it, do it, live the life you want. And I'll see you in the next episode. You have a good one. Bye.
Bye.